Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians, MPL's pop culture podcast. We are continuing our Buffy series with a discussion of Season 6. So we're discussing Episode 1, Bargaining Part 1, Episode 7, Once More with Feeling, and Episode 12, Doublemeat Palace. So, as always, although the show has, this season aired years ago, I will say there will be spoilers in case there are those of you who haven't yet watched Buffy. So
Buffy comes back.
Yes. Spoilers. Okay, you have been warned. Okay. So I'm just going to start off. So when we're starting Season 6, Buffy has been dead now for a few months, at least.
They have a dang old robot replacing her.
Yeah, because if you remember in the previous season, she sacrificed herself to close all the hell dimensions that had opened up, and her friends have been sort of taking up her role and trying to keep the evil populace of monsters at bay.
Now, also, just a question. So I know this is when the show switched from WB to UPN.
Okay.
Was Buffy dying sort of a, okay, if we have to end the show, we can end it here?
I believe so. From what I've read, I think Season 5, I don't know if it was intended to be the last because I think maybe the viewership was declining. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like Season 5 was almost intended to be the final season, and then I think they were greenlit again, and they brought it back for 2 more seasons. Okay. So maybe, I don't know if that answered the question. I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely could have been the final season.
Yeah, just from my perspective, it seemed like sort of we don't know if we're getting more.
Yeah.
So how about we leave it on a note where it could be final?
That's what I believe, yeah.
I mean, from my perspective as well, that it had a sense of finality to it.
Yeah, so yes and no.
Yeah.
So Buffy has been dead for a few months. Her friends are trying to do their best to fight the evil forces. The Buffy bot, which was introduced in Season 5, has been sort of taken out of retirement with the intent of sort of fooling the big baddies that, Buffy is still alive and well.
That made me really sad, honestly.
Yeah.
That whole episode, it's just something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's very good at capturing that feeling.
Yeah, this whole season, and I was reading how it was not really well received, especially since Season 5, while it had its moments of levity, it was a rough season too, because Buffy and Dawn go through so much loss. Mm-hmm. Even Willow and Tara, what happens to them. So the fact that they continued with this season, which is probably the most depressing season, and I don't use the word depressing lightly, because Buffy, if you watch the entire season, you realize that she is it's one long depressive, almost suicidal.
Everybody in the main cast seems clinically depressed right now.
So she's going, because you learn, and I don't know, do you want to kind of jump ahead to the revelation and Once More with Feeling about where she's been, or would you rather just do an episode by episode thing?
I think if we can just talk about, just go through and just talk about what we felt about the episodes.
I think we can just riff. I think free-flowing's fine.
So you learn essentially that Buffy has been in heaven. So she reveals this earlier to Spike is one of the first ones that she talks about this with. I think it's in Bargaining Part 2, which we didn't watch, where she says basically, I want my friends to sort of I can't talk about how I'm really feeling, because if I do, it's going to make my friends feel bad, which is a very real thing. A lot of people who are going through tough times don't want to burden other people with their quote-unquote problems, so they keep it in. But she does tell Spike, I was in heaven, or what I believe was heaven, and I was done. I was at peace. I was finished. And she says, I was ripped out of there by my friends. Mm-hmm. So she had this sense of finality. She was at peace. And then she's brought back, and she has to deal with the consequences of realizing I was at peace and I was brought back by my friends. Now, I think a part of her knows they didn't know, because Willow says, she could be in a hell dimension suffering unspeakable torment, and I'm not going to leave her there. which is a very valid kind of belief. I mean, at the
Right.
end, they don't know where she's gone. They just know
Right.
she's died.
But how much of that is like Willow wanting to like essentially like flex her magical ability, and how much of it is actually Willow honestly thinking that?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that the season explores, and when you see the episode Once More with Feeling, which is the episode where like the demon named Sweet has been summoned, and you burst into spontaneous song, and you're
I don't
essentially
like this episode.
revealing
I
your
liked it.
secrets. It was a mixed bag. There were some people that I think this is
I
the
think it's
episode that
very
won
fun.
them the Emmy, if I'm not mistaken, it probably is. And basically each song is each character revealing an insecurity. So for Buffy, it's that I'm just going through the motions. I am dead inside, but I'm just going to pretend that I'm so happy to be here, but I'm not. Xander and Anya, they're engaged to be married. Xander, his parents are examples of people who should never have married. He comes from an horrific household. There's a lot of abuse, there's alcoholism, and he fears that he will become his parents. So when he sings about, like, oh my God, what if I can't provide for her? And then Anya says, what if I get old and I'm no longer attractive? But none of them tell each other that. That's the whole issue with this season.
Communication's key, people.
Exactly, is that all of them are essentially going through things but not communicating.
How many gimmick episodes before they learn?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it is, essentially, where every single time they realize happens because we don't communicate. But we will still continue not to communicate because drama.
Yeah.
So Xander and Anya have their fears. Giles is like, I want to be there for Buffy, but he realizes she's using me as a crutch. That she has essentially checked out. And she's not, like, even with Dawn, like, she's, like, Dawn in this season alone, abandonment issues, she develops, like, a sort of klepto thing where she's stealing because she...
I mean, look, the fact Dawn's like,
Yeah.
like coherent at this point is kind of amazing. Like, you know, she's like a construct. That's messed up. Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a shame because she's not well liked by the fandom, but...
I liked her a lot, actually. I thought,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like when you realize she's a kid, and like I've grown to like her the more, like, as I've matured, and I'm like, she's going through a lot. She lost her mom. She just found out, oh, I'm a interdimensional ball of energy, and you know, she goes through so much, and she handles it relatively well. Not, but you know, considering
She's like-
everyone else.
She's like a normal teenager.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, oh, she's got some problems. Well, like, you know,
Yeah.
the kid don't.
So she's experiencing that. Going back to your question about Willow, this is the season when you really see that Willow is abusing the magic.
So okay, my thing is I just don't know if the metaphor of magic as drugs fully works.
You're not
No.
the only one. A lot of
Yeah.
people.
No, I don't agree with that.
A
either.
lot of people hated that they
Yeah.
used it as a drug metaphor.
It's just odd because like it'd be like if drugs could raise people from the dead, you
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
it mixes it up a little bit. I think.
yeah, it's I don't agree with that metaphor.
I get the initial thought of it.
Yes,
Of like, okay,
yeah.
she's using it to make things easier and to
Yeah.
cope.
Yes,
But like,
yeah.
I think just following it through, it's like, oh, what? Like, wasn't the magic helpful before in the show?
which is
Yeah.
a character flaw, and I was talking with Katie about this before we recorded, that you see as early as season 2. Because also with Willow is that she feels the need to be needed and to be wanted. And there's an episode where she tells Buffy, this is when she's crashed and burned, literally. Like, she crashes a car, Dawn gets injured, Tara has already left her, because in Once More with Feeling, you tragically learn that she's messed with Tara's memory.
Yeah.
And Tara confronts her about it. And she was like, you violated my mind, you violated my body, you violated my autonomy. I'm reaching a breaking point. And Tara eventually leaves her. And Willow doesn't learn, unfortunately. And
No, I don't like
yeah.
what the writers did to Willow as a character. Because
Yeah, they,
it's,
like-
it's not.
I stopped liking her really
Yeah.
after season 5. I
Yeah.
think is when she becomes almost intolerable. And it's a shame because she was one of the better characters.
Yeah.
But she basically tells Buffy in one time, like, who was I before magic? I was no one. Like, I was a loser. I had no friends. And it's a shame because when you think about her pre-Magic, she's someone who's intelligent, creative.
Yeah.
She had Magic becomes what she offers, but she already had so much to offer to the group too. But so this is the season when all of them are essentially not communicating, doing their own thing. Willow has become the de facto leader because unfortunately no one else is willing to step up to that role.
Yeah.
So Willow is, okay, you have the magics, you be the leader. And unfortunately it does go to Willow's head. There's an awesome moment, because this is also the season where Giles is essentially absent for most of the season. And that's because Anthony Stewart Head wanted to spend more time with his family.
Understandable.
So he thought that he was growing distant with his kids, so he's not really present for most of the season. Which, when I understood what the actor was going through, it made more sense. Narratively, it doesn't make sense that Giles was like, oh, the Slayer is dead. You don't need me anymore. I'm bouncing back to England. That never made much sense narrative-wise.
Right.
Because they obviously need your help. They're flailing and they're failing miserably at this.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to call out is Spike gives a summary of Giles' life in the first episode, where he's like, cup of tea, almost had a shag, cup of tea. But I'd like to correct that because we know Giles is a playboy. Right? We know that.
He is, yes. I love Spike. I feel like he is one of those characters because, this was James Marsters actually revealed this in a podcast episode where he was talking about Joss Whedon and how he's essentially not the best person. Spike was supposed to be a temporary character. He was supposed to appear in season 2, get dusted, and leave, but he became a fan favorite, which Joss Whedon hated. And James Marsters said how one day he grabbed him by the throat and he says, "You're dead, kid. You're dead. I'm going to kill you." And he said, "You do what you want. It's your show."
Right.
So Joss Whedon never liked the character to begin with. And a part of me kind of wonders if the fact that Spike becomes everyone's whipping boy from season 5 on, no matter what he does, but I'll talk about that later.
Not to analyze Joss Whedon here, but that's a very funny reaction when it's like, dude, you made the character and people liked him. It's take the compliment. Yeah. So, but Spike is one of the first ones to realize that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And sort of like it's the start of their very disastrous, toxic relationship. Like from then on, it's just downhill. Throughout the season. You see that in Doublemeat Palace, that they're in a sexual relationship. But it's for all the wrong reasons.
That really gave me the ick.
Well, yeah, because they're essentially
there's a rebound.
Both using one another, both manipulating one another. And it culminates in probably one of the worst episode character moments for Spike, which I hate and most in the fandom do, where he attempts to sexually assault Buffy. And James Marsters spoke about it, how he got physically ill after filming that scene. And it was a way to get Spike out of the picture for a while and then have him come back. But I'll talk about that later because it factors into season 7. But yeah, so this is the season where a lot happens, a lot of trauma. It's a very tough season to get through. There are moments of levity, but they're few and far in between.
I feel like the writers weren't expecting to get greenlit for yet another season, and I feel like that they were scrambling to try and make something work.
What's your take on the stuff with Xander and Anya? To me, it felt a little wheel spinny.
Yeah.
So with Xander and Anya, they have this very weird relationship. But there is genuine love there, and they get engaged. And Xander is someone who doesn't have the best example when it comes to relationships. So you see his family in season 6. There's a wonderful episode called Hell's Bells. And it's basically their song in episode 7 foreshadows what occurs in that episode.
Yeah.
So Xander gets visited from his future self. And his future self says, "I need to show you what's going to happen if you proceed with this marriage.
I'm sorry, that's a really funny concept.
Yeah.
And he sees basically that they become literally his parents. So he's an alcoholic. He gets hurt at work. He can't move, much. And Anya is this bitter woman. They have 2 kids that hate them. There's hints that Anya's been unfaithful because like her daughter has like demon ear. It's really kind of bizarre. And what the twist is that it's not really his future self. It's a demon who basically had it in with Anya, and he basically fabricates this entire future. However, with Xander, he is so fearful of becoming his parents that even though it's fake, he leaves her at the altar and he says, I don't want to hurt you, and if we're marrying for the wrong reasons, it will be for life. Now, granted, this would have been best said prior to getting at the altar, but so he leaves her. So their whole song foreshadows that event happening. So yeah, but I'm not sure if I answered your question. I'm sorry about the.
Oh no, just like your opinion on their storyline this season. That's all.
Oh, it's a tragic one.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, they rushed. It's sort of like when you're rushing headfirst into something. And granted, I've never been in a relationship. I can't speak to those dynamics. But it's sort of like Anya becomes human. And when she becomes human, she's forced to sort of confront, I can get injured. I can get sick. I may die young. So she sort of like tells Xander, we don't have much time. Xander loves her deeply and he says, okay, I'm going to propose to her. But even when he proposes, there's a scene where Giles says, you might want to consider putting a down payment on a house. And all you see Xander's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Down payment, how? Like his eyes glaze over. He says, but you have the rest of your life to think about the rest of your life. And you can see that Xander's mortified by the prospect. But he doesn't say anything. And that's the tragic thing, is that the 2 of them don't communicate these fears. They just ignore them. And that's what happens. So it's very tragic. I love the 2 of them, but it's very tragic, is I guess how I would answer it. I just feel so bad for them.
I liked Anya's song about the bunnies.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah, because she has an irrational fear of, which I find is hysterical, considering she's a demon that slaughters men. She has a fear of bunnies. It's really funny. But yeah, I find them tragic.
Yeah, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for Xander. I think Anya dodged a bullet because Xander, since season 1, has been shown to not learn from anything.
It's unfortunate, but he's a Joss Whedon insert.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense. It's unfortunate because his character has his moments, few and far in between, but he has them, and it could have been so much more. But the Doublemeat Palace, so when I was rewatching it, so it's essentially the killer is this old woman that has a
goosebump ass monster.
Yeah, it's but like, did anyone else feel the ick after Willow is the one who she's the one that chops off
I liked when it was in the meat grinder and it was just like weird, like it looked like
it definitely
dirt almost.
Gave me the ick.
I know, but I was getting this is probably like penis things, like phallic imagery with that demon thing.
Blech.
Because there's the reason why I say this, because there's an episode where Willow tells Tara after the story, because she's like, if I wasn't gay before, and then she ends it that way. But I was really, I was like, that is so gross. I was like, oh my God, that whole thing is but it's so funny because she's unassuming. Who would expect that this woman who orders coffee and cherry pie every day essentially is the big bad of that episode? But what I love about Doublemeat Palace is just how weird and eccentric everyone is.
The big conspiracy is that, it's vegetable.
Oh, yes.
It's not that it's people or anything bad. It's just they were using veggies in the burgers.
When I was watching the moment when she's learning how to grill, did anyone else find that funny when her coworker was like, it's a meat process? It's just, what is? She goes, it's a process they do to the meat. She was like, I get it now. And she was
I don't know why, and it's probably because Buffy, I think, is just not my thing. I was like, I got frustrated. I was like, just flip the burgers.
But I know, but I was just thinking, it goes grease, like, eyelashes. It's like how the music is like building to like that. Like, it's your goosebump. It goes, ears. He goes, like, I went to the doctor and it was clogged. It was, what did she say, grease. And then Buffy's like, She was like, but I got a bulb mechanism. I just love that character. Oh, and it's like, do you want to see my ears? And she was like, no, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I just felt pure frustration with this.
I get it, but it's like we've all had those like moments, whether it's with coworkers, like thank God not here, but like with anyone where it's like okay now, and like you just want to like slide out as quickly as possible. I don't know. I laugh all the time.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't see the appeal of a double meat burger.
Yeah.
Oh.
Would you want a chicken sandwich on your burger?
No.
Like,
I don't know.
No.
I guess it wouldn't be terrible or anything, but like
I guess it depends on how well seasoned it is, because chicken is like hit or miss for me.
So I'm gonna reveal something about myself. I'm very odd when it comes to my food. I don't really like things touching my food, and if I'm gonna have a burger, I want a burger, not with a chicken patty on top or just chicken on top of my burger. No.
Wait, now that I'm thinking about it, I've actually had, no, are they like chicken burgers or turkey burgers? See, I've had like turkey burgers. And turkey, I know it's not the same as chicken, but like
they're both foul.
But I don't really like turkey, so like when I used to have the turkey burger, because for a while I was on a diet thing, like I'd be like, oh, I just want a burger. So now thinking about it, I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I probably just like a burger.
For me, it's just like the combination of the two. I could do a turkey burger. Like turkey is a good substitute for ground beef a lot of the time.
It is.
Like, turkey chili, that stuff goes hard.
I enjoy a turkey burger and turkey chili as well.
But like,
just the two of them sounds odd.
I'm just kind of like, I don't know why you mix them.
Yeah.
I also love when she's watching when like the whole training is like when a chicken and a cow get together, she goes like, oh my God, you can almost like you hear like the sound effects.
My God. Yes, the writers definitely were scrounging around trying to make something, and it.
Yeah, I don't know. I love that episode because it's like the moment of levity in a season.
I didn't hate it. It's like I don't know, like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for me. I kind of appreciate that it's like a little bit of a throwback to the early stuff. You know,
yeah.
It's like, okay, here's just a goofy one.
And I think that's also you've hit it for why that is a standout episode for me, because Buffy, even though she experiences moments of darkness, which I think is why a lot of fans were thrown by season 6, because even I think Sarah Michelle Gellar said that that the Buffy of season 6 was not the Buffy she knew. Mm-hmm. Like she mentioned basically how it was so hard for her to like play that role in season 6, because Buffy has always gone through hard times, but you still find the levity in it. This season, it's like Doublemeat Palace is the only real moment where it's like, oh, it's like a return to the previous seasons, you know, and like you said, a goosebumpy feel. Yeah. It's like season 1 and the ridiculousness of season 1. So I think that's also why I like it, because it is that moment of like, oh, it's going back to the Buffy I know and love. And then it goes, no, returning back to depression and just sadness and people making poor life decisions. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. But, yeah, so I don't, like, were there any, like, other questions you have?
What was your favorite song? Let's throw that question out there.
Oh, I love the I'm Under Your Spell.
That one was very good. I liked that, too.
Yeah, and I also love Giles' the 80s montage training scene song that he sings.
He can sing very well.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you know that he's been on stage and everything. Yeah, Anthony Stewart Head. I do have a crush on him, like he is. I don't know. I used to not really like him when I was younger because I was foolish, but then as I aged, I appreciate him. Yeah, but I love Once More with I'm Under Your Spell, because it's heartbreaking when you realize she is quite literally under her spell, but she doesn't realize it. So yeah, that's one of my favorite. And also I think the when you first see Mr. Sweet and he's singing with Dawn.
Yeah, he's doing the tap dance stuff. That's very fun.
And like Dawn's like, well, you see, I'm 15, so this queen thing is illegal. He goes, I'll make it real. And he's just basically singing, like he's not even paying attention to her. So yeah.
Yeah, he's like a 30s cartoon devil. You know?
Yeah, and I do love like the little behind the scenes things, like and also Marty Noxon is the woman who's singing about the parking ticket. She's one of the writers of the show, and she goes, "That hydrant wasn't there," and it's just like happening in the background, and the sweepers doing the secret. Like, I don't know, and also they got the mustard out.
I thought that was funny.
And that's another writer from the show. The mustard out. And he goes, I love that moment that they got the mustard out and then doing, yeah. Yeah.
See, now I watched Once Upon a Time, an avid watcher in when it was on Netflix, and then when it came on to Disney Plus. They have a musical episode. I hated it.
Oh,
I hated it, and this just reminded me of that episode and left a bad taste in my mouth.
I know Lou is a no on musical episodes of shows as well.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm a little torn because I'm like, yeah, it's very cute, but like, I don't know, they were good in here. They did a good job with this. I liked this a lot.
No, I understand because like I don't know if they were the first ones to do something, but a lot of shows have had musical episodes. Even like shows like I think Grey's Anatomy.
I think this started the trend.
Yeah. So like for Buffy, it kind of like I can understand. Like Once Upon a Time, I can kind of see like. For like Grey's Anatomy, that would have thrown me because Grey's Anatomy, as far as I'm aware, is grounded in a reality. It's almost like Law and Order SVU. If one day they had a musical episode,
that would be on repeat for me.
I know. It's like it would throw me so far. Like with Buffy, magical stuff happens, so it makes sense. Oh, there's a demon that you break out into song and you dance till you burn to death. Like I can see it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like Once Upon a Time, it makes sense, but it's like. Why?
And it's so funny because I don't like musicals, but this is one of my favorite episodes, and I'm not a musical person.
And like especially since it's funny because this happens in season 6.
Yeah.
In a Once Upon a Time, it happens in like season 5, season 6.
Oh, okay.
Of them ending the show, so it's not like it's happened before. If it happened before, then I would have like expected it. I guess.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Xena Warrior Princess beat them to the punch by 3 years.
Yes, they do have a musical episode.
See,
and that's the musical episode that cemented in my mind that Xena and Gabrielle are more than just friends.
Yeah, Wikipedia describes her as her best friend and traveling companion.
I mean, I understand. It was...
the 90s, the early 90s.
We all know they're practically singing. Like, isn't that the episode where they're on a cross together and they're singing to each other?
That's what this looks like.
You don't sing to your best friend. What?
I didn't see the. I didn't see the episode.
Watch that episode. That will convince you that they're not friends. But yeah, I forgot about that.
God.
Because I hate when shows do that, where it's like, oh, they're just friends, and they're having like their love confession while they're dying. Like, they're not friends, people. Yeah, I forgot Xena was the first one to do that.
My
Xena.
God.
Xena and Gabrielle. Yeah. A lot of tension there. Yeah, they would have been. That was definitely earlier than Buffy.
Yeah.
I feel like also Hercules probably had a musical episode too. Like, who knows?
There's a Hercules show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with Kevin. Is it? No, Kevin Sorbo. No. Is it?
Yes.
It is.
Hercules,
okay.
The Legendary Journeys?
Yes.
Yes, Kevin Sorbo.
Yes, and Xena
That's
went
bizarre. He's not even ripped.
No, but it's very good.
Yeah, but Xena, when she crosses over to his show, is evil.
Yes.
Oh, what?
And then, well, no, it was before she even had a series.
Yeah.
So it's not even really like a crossover. She
True.
was his nemesis in an episode, and then because of that, she gets her own spin-off.
Yeah, where she becomes reformed.
Yes.
And she's riding around scantily clad, which I understand. Lucy Lawless is a beautiful woman.
I like that on Wikipedia they call it the Xenoverse. It's just like, no, it's better than Hercules.
Yeah. I kind of feel like, though, it was better than Hercules. I mean, granted, when it was on, I was very young.
I hear a lot more people talk about Xena than about Hercules.
Yeah. I watched, I think, more Xena Warrior Princess reruns than Hercules reruns.
Yeah.
But I like both.
Yeah, but I was also very young, so I don't remember a whole lot. When it was airing, I was very young, so I wasn't the target demographic.
No.
But yeah,
Neither was
the
I.
musical episode, I forgot about that episode. Oh, right. Bringing back memories. Yeah.
If you were very young when that series was airing, I was younger.
Yeah, but it was a fun time. So yeah, so we want to do no, we're not reviewing until we finish, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rating.
Right.
Rating these episodes?
Yeah, are we doing that? Because I forgot what Lou wanted us to do. Because every time I thought it was like, no, we're waiting till the end.
We can freestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, what are we? What's the rating?
Thinking?
Oh, double meat burgers.
Yeah, we can do double meat burgers.
Okay, the highs were high. I love the musical. I thought Bargaining had some really good stuff in there. Double Meat, kind of fun. I don't know. 3.5. It's definitely not the best the show has been, but I still think it's pretty solid. And yeah, I don't know, steaks. Let's say, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
3.5 steaks.
Yes.
3 steaks.
That's fine. That's a lot higher than I thought you were gonna give it. I would say 3.5, 4. For me, Once More with Feeling is one of my favorite episodes of the season. Oh, one thing I did want to get your opinion on.
Yes.
And I should have asked earlier. What did you think of the biker gang?
My God.
What the hell was that?
My God.
I should have
Why
asked
is there
before.
like a biker bar of
God.
vampires? What was happening there?
I have no idea.
Why is Buffy allowing vampire bars to ferment in her town?
She's dead.
But
Technically.
They had to have had that establishment for quite some time.
Yeah.
But I thought it was outside the town. Oh, it is.
Maybe it is.
Because they travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know in
She
Sunnydale proper
can't
there
cross
is a
county
bar
lines.
where, because I remember season 2, I forgot what the hell it's called now. I was going to say Lloyd's. It's not Lloyd's. There is a bar where, monsters frequent, and she and Angel go there to, beat the owner for getting information. So there is an established bar where vampires and demon folks like to congregate and, whatever. But I just thought it was so over the top. And as I was watching, I was like, and the song that plays when they're leaving to, let's ride. And I'm like, I can't wait to hear what people say about this. I was like, it's over
camp,
the top.
but it's not good camp.
Yeah. I was fearing, 'cause especially there's the element of which I didn't really like too much, but it does make sense for the characters, where there's the implied threat of sexual assault that happens with Willow and Tara, when they get confronted. That's in part 2. I didn't like that too much. That kind of gives me but yeah, it's in part 2. But yeah, okay. So I remember I wanted to talk about biker gang.
No, now you have.
No.
They were just, but yeah, I was just like, what? There's just a vampire society happening?
Did you see that he had a Hanson shirt? The vampire
I did not.
that, yeah,
That's funny.
he had Hanson.
He has good taste.
I kind of want one of those shirts, or it's a picture of Hanson, but it says Nirvana.
Oh. Yeah, so that was our discussion of season 6 of Buffy. As always, subscribe. If you have any thoughts on the episodes, we would love to hear them. What's your favorite episode? What do you think we should have discussed? I had a very hard time in general during this series picking the episodes, but yeah. So that's the conclusion of season 6. We will be talking about season 7 in a later episode. But as always, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.